Alrighty, we have a new Robert Eggers film, and I love The Lighthouse, so let's talk about Nosferatu. Hey guys, AJYT Abbott here. Welcome back to another review. This is our first movie review of 2025. Even though this is a 2024 film, I had to review Nosferatu. This is a movie that is worth my time, and I think that I'm starting off here in 2025. We're just going to do spoilers. These are going to be spoiler reviews. I realize that I'm kind of making these reviews longer than I have to be by making them into two parts, a non-spoiler and a spoiler section. So this is going to have complete spoilers. So if you guys haven't seen Nosferatu, go watch it, go check it out. It is worth your time, and come back and hear my thoughts. Let me just start off with this cast. We have Lily Rose Depp as Helen, Nicholas Hoult as Thomas, Willem Dafoe as Professor Albin, Aaron Taylor-Johnson as Friedrich, Emma Corrin as Anna, and of course Bill Skarsgård, who delivers an incredible performance as Count Orlok. And it's a performance that you will not remember, like you won't remember that it is him until the credits roll. I had to remind myself consistently that, yeah, this is Bill Skarsgård, and it didn't hit me until the very end of the credits. I was like, yeah, that was Bill Skarsgård, and he just disappears into this role. It was fantastic. So the cinematography is one of the things I want to talk about first. It is just flawless in this movie. You have Eggers, who is this very immersive filmmaker, who just immerses you in its sets, in its costumes, in its dialogue. It just has fantastic world building, and he is a master at that. Whether it is the Viking style in The Northman or the creepy aesthetic, the black and white of The Lighthouse, everything that he does in his movies, down to the lighting, to the way it's shot, everything just feels very lived in, and I love that about his films. So you have this very chilling opening scene in which Helen calls upon Nosferatu. He makes his way into her life and therefore scars her for the rest of her life, because years later after this, she is still having these recurring nightmares. She mentions how she had a dream about her and Thomas getting married, and then they turned around and everyone was dead. It's really well done. The dialogue in this movie is so well done. It's so eerie, and the dialogue delivery from Lily Rose Depp in that scene was especially great. She does some insane things throughout the rest of the movie, including convulsing, and I mean, we're talking like snot and just doing weird things, moving her tongue around and everything, shaking. It is a haunting performance, really, and it might be over the top for some, but I really liked it. I really did, and I love Nicholas Hoult. I'm becoming a big fan of him. Ever since The Menu, I've been a fan of this guy, and I'm excited to see what 2025 brings him. He is awesome in this as Thomas, who goes to see Count Orlok in Transylvania. Has a very creepy experience there, involving blood-sucking, seeing Nosferatu's corpse, which he has a dick, by the way. I'm sure all the ladies loved that one. And the design for Nosferatu is just disgusting. And I get it. People are going to have problems with it. That's been one of the most controversial things around this movie. The design of Nosferatu himself. The mustache has been the deal breaker for a lot of people. But I can kind of take it or leave it. It didn't catch me off guard as much as everything else about him, where he is a rotting corpse, and I like that because vampires are undead, notoriously. So I like that he is pretty much a rotting corpse, especially towards the ending of the film. We get a full body shot of him, and this man skipped leg day because he has such skeletal legs. His skin is all like gray, like a green and gray, like just rotted, and it is really crazy to look at. And I'm trying to remind myself that this was Bill Skarsgård, because you just don't even see him. You don't see him. Yeah, the mustache must have killed it for some people. They were like, ha, he looks ridiculous with that mustache. But me, on the other hand, I was just freaked the hell out. And like Thomas was, he gets the hell out of there. And then he makes a journey, a 6-week journey back to Helen. But the one thing that I don't like about the movie, that I think it doesn't do particularly well on, is showing the passage of time. Because Thomas takes this 6-week journey to Transylvania to meet Nosferatu or Count Orlok, and then when he escapes, he makes that same journey again, and we find him. He stumbles upon the doorstep of Friedrich and Anna, where Helen has been staying ever since she's had these convulsions. It didn't feel like much time had passed. It didn't feel like 6 days had passed, or 6 weeks had passed. And also, there's a scene where Orlok comes in and tells Helen that she has 3 nights to give herself into him, or else he will kill Thomas. And she doesn't give in to him on the first night, so he sends rats after Anna, and she gets the plague. And then the second night, Anna hears a bunch of commotion, and she walks in on Orlok sucking the blood out of their 2 daughters, which is fucking dark. And then he kills Anna as well. So the next day, so that happens on the second night, and then on the third day, you have Friedrich finding his kids and his wife dead off screen, but we just cut to a funeral. So he had a funeral in that one day. In that one span of time, he finds the wife and kid, manages to plan a funeral and have all the coffins made and the bodies readily prepared and all that. And then he goes there, and then he's upset with Helen and the others for getting them all mixed up in this mess with Orlok. And he talks with them about how they're going to deal with Orlok. Then later on, Friedrich has the plague, and he goes back to the graves, opens up the grave, and dies with his family. But not before he fucks his dead wife's corpse. Which, I don't know if... I mean, I get it. He's going crazy, right? But this man just didn't feel like he was... I didn't buy that this guy would fuck his wife's corpse. I really didn't, because Aaron Taylor Johnson plays him with such... He does a great job at selling that this man loves his wife and his kids. So I didn't buy it. Even though he is going insane from all this that's happening, I don't know if he would fuck his wife, his dead wife's corpse, really? But in the end, it is Helen who makes this sacrifice against Orlok, Nosferatu, whatever you want to call him. She gives in to him, and she starts to have sex with him. He's, like, biting her boobs and shit. It's gnarly. It's fucking gross. And, the sun rises, and he is vanquished, as is Helen. She dies along with him. So, that was sad, but it was a good sacrifice. It might feel a little bit underwhelming, because the characters can't do anything to stop this. Because Willem Dafoe's character, who, by the way, I haven't talked about in this review yet, but I love Willem Dafoe. He's awesome in this movie. One of my favorite parts. He's this professor that they enlist to kind of help find out what is this about, who is Orlok, what's happening. And he leads Thomas and Ralph Ineson's character, good to see him as well, away. And they go to Transylvania to Orlok's castle, and they think, alright, we're going to kill Orlok, but they end up killing the boss who was in Orlok's casket there. So Orlok put him there, and then he dies, and then it turns out that Orlok is there with Helen. So the professor was like, you can't stop it, you know, because he knew that if Thomas was there, he would have stopped Helen from sacrificing himself. So you get Willem Dafoe lighting a fucking, the caskets and all that shit on fire, and the flames rising up, and him shouting and laughing. Willem Dafoe laughing with fire behind him. Great image. One of my favorite images of 2024. Love it. But overall, guys, it's a fantastically made film. It is phenomenally filmed, acted, edited. The pacing as well. It's a 2-hour and like 20 or 30 minute film. And it was paced out really well. That was one of my concerns, but I did not have to worry. That pacing was great. And it has some great scares in it, some horrifying imagery, great world building, and it's another win for Robert Eggers. So yeah, I'm giving Nosferatu a 9 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. Go check it out, guys. And yeah, make sure to check out my other reviews that I've done in the past, the recent 2024 reviews. Next review, I'm not quite sure. I think it will be Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare, if not Wolfman. So I'll see you there for that. Take care, everyone, and goodbye.